Hello everyone, welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
Good morning. My name's Tim Johnson. This is Stacy Borho.
Good morning, Tim.
How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. It's got a fine mist outside. It's one of those lovely days here in Illinois.
Not lovely at all. It's a day where you stay in bed.
It sounds like a great idea today. Just nice, warm, and toasty. And
That does sound great.
today we have Mike Van Cleve. You're with the Peoria Wildcats, right?
I am. My wife and I coach the Peoria Wildcats. It's a wheelchair basketball team for kids with physical disabilities here in Central Illinois.
Wow.
Right. And his wife was on, told that awesome story about how they met.
Yep, that was
So you
great.
can go back and check out that show, right?
Do you remember when that was?
A long time ago.
I don't remember.
We were here.
Yeah, it was here. So it's been within the last year and a half. So, yeah. We're in the neighborhood, and the concept of in the neighborhood is basically we have people that are community changers that really make a difference here in Peoria. And our goal, Stacy and my goal, is to get people to volunteer. If you're not volunteering, take it to the next level, find a place, find something to get involved with. That's really what we're about. Find us on Peoria TV, channel 17 on i3 Broadband. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and all the different social medias.
All kinds
through.
of places to find us.
Our company is Wildcats, so we broadcast in so many different areas. It's kind of what we do. So.
That's right.
Before we get started, Mike, why don't you go ahead and watch the video of the Wildcats.
Here at Metamora High School, taking over the gym classes for the day, teaching them wheelchair basketball, talking about the Peoria Wildcats, the team that my wife and I coach. Happy to be invited here today by Mr. Vaughn, the assistant principal. It's something we've done for the last several years, and it's a great way for our high school students in the area to learn about the sport of wheelchair basketball, some of the challenges that our athletes face, and to open their eyes to some new horizons. So I'm Mike Van Cleve. This is my wife, Katie Van Cleve. She's from the Heart of Illinois Special Recreation Association. And we are the coaches of the Peoria Wildcats. Peoria Wildcats are a wheelchair basketball team for kids with physical disabilities. We are the only team south of I-80 and north of St. Louis. We're going to be taking over your gym class today to do wheelchair basketball.
That's the Wildcats. Metamora is my kids' school. So,
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. That really isn't the Wildcats. That's you giving kids from Metamora kind of a taste of what the Wildcats is, right?
Absolutely. So for the last, this is the fourth year that we've done it. Assistant Principal Terry Vaughn has invited us in to do a gym takeover day. So for the 7 periods of the day, we go in and introduce their high school students to wheelchair basketball. So give a brief introduction at the beginning. We get the kids split up into teams, and we get them in chairs for about 5 minutes for each group, and then they get to kind of experience what our athletes experience on a weekly basis. So
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Looks a lot of fun.
It does.
Yeah, they were really timid at first, but the high school students were, they once they caught on and once they started seeing that they could have a good time, we were having kids who were, oh, can I go again? That was so much fun, and they were peeking their head in through other periods, going, hey, can I jump in a chair while I'm in between classes? And so it was really awesome, and we'd love to do it at other schools. It's just Metamora has been the ones who have reached out to us, and so we've really enjoyed that.
So you're open to other schools doing the same thing?
Absolutely. Anything we can do to increase the awareness of wheelchair basketball. There are 100 teams through the National Wheelchair Basketball Association throughout the country. Illinois has the biggest congregation of teams in the United States. There are 7 teams here in Illinois. Illinois was the birthplace of wheelchair basketball. So, we're very fortunate that we have as many teams as we do to play within the state. Some teams actually have to, like the team from Utah, has to drive 4 hours before they get to the closest team to them. So, so playing tournaments and things like that, it can be really challenging. And just getting the opportunity for adaptive athletics, for, the social, the emotional, the physical benefits for kids with disabilities is really important. So
the wheelchair basketball itself, is that only for people in wheelchairs?
Here in the United States, yes. In Canada, they allow what we call able-bodied people to participate as well.
Okay.
But in the United States, it's only for kids who have a lower leg or lower body disability, whether it's spinal cord injury, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, amputation, maybe a leg length discrepancy,
Sure.
things like that.
So when you're going out to Metamora and showing the other kids, that's to educate them on what it would be like to be in a wheelchair?
Partially, but it's partially to get them to understand and help them understand that athletics is athletics. And so whether you're using a piece of equipment like a pair of ice skates if you play hockey, or whether you're using a wheelchair, it's really just another piece of athletic equipment.
That's very neat.
So how'd you get started?
Well, a lot of people don't realize this because physical therapy and surgery allowed me to remove the limp from, or remove my limp, but I was born with cerebral palsy. My right leg didn't form correctly through lack of oxygen. And then I fell down a flight of stairs when I was 4. And so my parents were able to contact a really great orthopedic surgeon in the DC area where I grew up. And he was able to lengthen my Achilles tendon through surgery, and that made me eligible to play wheelchair sports. So even though I don't use a wheelchair on a daily basis, I'm about 40% of the people who play wheelchair basketball make up people who walk and even could run or whatnot on a daily basis. But my right side is about 30% weaker than my left.
Wow. So that's got to be hard in regards to training and stuff, huh?
It can be. It's the great thing about wheelchair basketball is that part of the game is realizing and learning your teammates' abilities and their weaknesses, just like in anything. And so knowing where your teammate needs to receive a pass in order to be successful. For me, somebody can throw a pass pretty much anywhere within the vicinity of me, and I'm going to be able to grab it. Whereas one of our kids with spinal cord injury, if you pass a ball too low and he has to bend down, he doesn't have the ab function to be able to pick himself back up without pushing down on his chair. So to hold the ball and push up on his chair puts him in a disadvantage and could create a turnover. So our athletes not only have to push and maneuver the chair, dribbling, but they also have to focus on kind of the specifics. So it can be a very challenging game, but it also is very exciting. Same rules as able-bodied basketball with a couple of variations. The chair becomes part of the body, so if you run into somebody with it, it's like a moving foul in stand-up basketball.
So I find it all fascinating. We had Kurt P. White on a show yesterday talking about being handy capable.
Absolutely. He's an incredible speaker.
Great job. So this helps give confidence to the people that are playing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what we find we try and get kids involved as early as possible. And with our younger kids, we don't really teach basketball skills per se. We just play games with them. And maybe it's tag, maybe it's, there's a game we play called Sharks and Minnows, where the kids start down at one end of the court and the shark's in the middle, and the shark goes and tags the other minnows, and they become sharks and go and tag other people. So really what we're teaching there is defensive positioning, but they don't understand defensive positioning yet. They're just enjoying playing the game. And with kids without disabilities, with my daughter, we started rolling a ball to her when she was 8, 9 months, and that fine motor skills and the gross motor skills you just kind of pick up. For a lot of kids with physical disabilities, we're working not just against the perceptions of the parents and society, but we're also, to a certain degree, working against kind of some outdated models from the medical community, where people are apprehensive to explain that their patients or the kids are able to accomplish more than they don't want to give the parents more hope than they can realistically. And so, I understand that. My brother's a physician, a pediatric anesthesiologist, and so when I talk to him and when he talks with people who are his pediatric patients, he tries to educate them that these opportunities are available, because we want these kids to get a ball in their hands or to get something in their hands to work on those fine motor skills as early as possible, so that athletic movement becomes part of their daily life. And so, obesity and diabetes and things like that are exceptionally more rampant in the disability community because of some of the attitudes towards children with disabilities in movement. And so the earlier we can get them involved, whether it's basketball, track, tennis, any swimming, they're great opportunities.
So what kind of wheelchairs do you use? Are they special?
They are. So the wheelchair itself is a basketball chair. The outside wheels are cambered, so provides a wider base. There's also 2 wheels, typically 1 or 2 wheels in the back, and that was an improvement in the mid-90s, because in basketball, our forwards, our power forwards, are getting into the key or close to the basket, and prior to that, they were kind of being toppled over and they were falling backwards.
Yeah, reaching back.
So the 5th and 6th wheel allows you to lean back and get that, use both hands to post up. But the other benefit to it is because the focal point of the wheels is right under your center of balance. If you have use of your hips, you can lean back onto the 5th and 6th wheels, and you can actually direction your chair without using your hands. So it provides a mobility aid as well as you're going down the court to maneuver yourself into a layup or
kind of a skateboard type.
Yeah,
approach.
very much so. Yeah. So.
How do kids find out about and get involved then to be more active?
Well, they can. YouTube is a phenomenal tool. They can find us on Facebook at Peoria Wildcats, or Facebook by searching at Peoria Wildcats. The National Wheelchair Basketball Association, the NWBA, is a great resource. The National Center on Physical Disability, National Center on Adapted Sports, I think is, I'll have to send you guys the link later. But there are a lot of great organizations kind of all over, but the web can be a great resource. And, we have an athlete that we found at the Morton Pumpkin Festival years ago. She was doing a wheelie in her everyday chair about 100 feet down from us. And I kind of elbowed my wife and I said, "Hey, do you see that?" And so after the parade had ended, I ran down. I said, "This is going to sound really weird, but my wife and I coach a youth wheelchair basketball team, and would your daughter be interested?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that would be amazing." And it turns out she's a physician's assistant here at a local hospital, and just incredible. And that's how we meet most of our athletes, is just the high school students see somebody out and we get a Facebook message that says, hey, I ran into this person. I told them about how we did this thing at my high school and how cool it was. And we told them that they should look at, they should contact you. And then we get a Facebook message and we start the conversation. And so that word of mouth is really incredible.
Absolutely. So people can message you on Facebook then if they have questions or want more
Absolutely.
information.
Absolutely. And they can also reach out to my wife's agency, which is the Heart of Illinois Special Recreation Association.
Okay.
And they're at hisra.org.
Okay.
And they provide recreation programs for people with disabilities for 4 local park districts.
So let's talk about availability of a volunteer getting involved. How can people get involved? What kind of openings do you have?
Absolutely. Well, I've been coaching now. This is my 16th season. And while I absolutely love, working with kids and coaching, it's, I'm not sure whether we're going to be doing it forever. So we're always looking for people who are interested in getting involved, who might be interested in, coaching in the future. It's great to have volunteers that help us do outreach. We really would like to be able to go out and speak with physical therapy offices in our area, speak with the medical community. So setting up meet and greets with local physicians, people who are willing to just kind of connect us with a high school. Really anything from sending an email out to your friends and family about wheelchair basketball and seeing if they can connect us with somebody, or donations are always appreciated. The Heart of Illinois Special Recreation Association is a 501c3 that can accept donations, monetary donations. The chairs each cost is started at about $2,200 for the frame, and then the wheels can be anywhere from $300 to $700. And so we provide all the equipment for our athletes to get started, because we know the cost of entry is so high.
Yeah.
And so, we'll take as little help or as much help as people are willing to give us.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
So I see your logo. The way that we met is being realtors together.
Absolutely.
And you're involved there. So
Absolutely.
How long have you been doing real estate?
I've been in real estate for 7 years. And so before that, I was in architecture for about 10 years and got into real estate because I wanted to see the impact of my work on a shorter term basis. And it allowed me to get out and have conversations with people about the health and vitality and the helping people achieve their goals. The great thing about real estate is it allows us to build on relationships, and that's really where my strengths are, is getting out and being relatable and personal with people.
You're also trying to get involved with the Park District a little bit more?
Yes, so I was challenged about 5-6 months ago for being as strong an advocate as I am for the community, that to take that one step further. And so I've been running a campaign for president of the Peoria Park District, and as a realtor, I see on a daily basis what attracts and keeps people in our community, and the health and vitality of our park district is a direct correlation to the health and vitality of our citizens and the citizens of Central Illinois, and also one of the very strong economic factors that influence our community.
So we talk quite often, you can complain about things in Peoria or you can get involved, right?
That is
Yeah.
very true. Yeah.
So that's one of the, I think that's one thing that you're doing, is stepping out and getting involved.
Absolutely.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, it's funny. As being somebody who wasn't a politician before, it's a role that I stepped into fairly reluctantly. I met with my friend Tim Cassidy, who's the current president, months ago, and he had said that he didn't think he was going to run again for re-election. And in talking with him, he said, you really should consider running for for board president with your community involvement, depth of relationships that you have. I said, oh, Tim, I'm not a politician. You know, I really enjoy being in business and my work in the community. He said, that's exactly why you should do it. And so, you know, it's the kind of thing where when I looked at the natural progression of how I want to make an impact, it's kind of the idea of being here one-on-one and talking versus being, you know, having the camera here to talk to a much greater group of people. So when we talk about being able to make a positive impact in our community, I know I can do that in my real estate business on a one-on-one basis with my clients. And by being president of the Peoria Park District, it allows me to put that, to amplify that on a much, much greater scale.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hard to believe, but we're already out of time through this. But you do great things in Peoria.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate the difference maker that you are.
Well, thank you. I said I moved to Peoria for love, and then I fell in love with Peoria. And so, you know, this is an incredible community. And so
It is. Mike Van Cleve, check out the Peoria Wildcats. Can they search for that and find it on Facebook?
At Peoria Wildcats on Facebook, and I'm at Mike Van Cleve.
All right, find him and get involved one way or another. Again, we're on Peoria TV, we're on WPEO, we're on YouTube and Facebook and all of the above. So make sure you share this if you would, especially to those that are handy capable. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Tim. You just want me to start talking? In the neighborhood.
In the Neighborhood is a show that I do with a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Our goal is to help people that kind of want to volunteer, but maybe are a little afraid of volunteering, and give them the opportunity to volunteer in an easy way and get to know the organizations before they even get involved with them.
Time, talent, or treasure?
Time, talent, or treasure.
Or all three. Whatever you can do. In Their Neighborhood is a show where we bring in people to elaborate on what exactly it is that they do in the community so that we can recruit more volunteers for them, educate about the nonprofits that we have, and really we want to connect volunteers with their volunteering vision.
We have amazing organizations in Peoria that rock and make Peoria rock.
That's right. Peoria is an awesome place, and if we just take the time to give back, then it's going to be that much better.
So why do you think people fear getting involved in volunteering?
It's something different. We make things complicated, don't we? Even though it's as simple as walking through a door. I mean, one of my favorite things volunteering-wise is building ramps. Some people might say, oh, that's a lot of work, or I don't have the body for that, or the skill set or whatever. But when someone lets me use a miter saw, that's pretty cool stuff. There's a lot of different cool things to do, and I got to bring my dad along with me, so that was even better. You can take the baby steps. You can make a phone call to something you're passionate about, whether it's babies or adults or reading or shoveling or what have you. I mean, we've had hundreds of opportunities to help. Time, talent, treasure, it can be any of those things too. Maybe you don't have time or you don't feel like spending time, so you want to donate. By all means, make that impact too. There's also reading. You can just listen to a child read. Listen to a friend read. Be present at a retirement home or make a meal at the Friendship House. There's a lot of different things we can do.
A victim is thinking of themselves, a hero is thinking of others.
There you go.
So again, investing in others.
Being a volunteer hero.
That's it.
There you go.
We're looking for volunteer heroes.
PeoriaLife.com. PeoriaLife.com.